Beer braised oxtail and Landcress custard bombed in the regional heats.
I have to say, I really think this was Tom's weakest dish.
It jolly was. It was horrible.
I've changed my starter. This one, I'm pretty sure the judges will be pleased with. I've kind of taken it, lightened it up, no oxtail, using beef fillet instead, and put it a little bit more summer into it and a bit more bone marrow.
Tom starts by searing his fillet of beef.
So how was it, Tom, just to come up with a 100% new dish in such a short space of time? Obviously, there's a little bit more pressure there.
Well, it is, you know. I didn't have any chance or any time to go and look for new suppliers in the area or new anything, so I had to use the ingredients that I'd already sourced, the guys that I'd already been to see.
Yeah, sure.
And change the concept of the dish completely.
So I'm assuming you've been back at the restaurant, busy services. You've not practiced this, have you?
No.
First time today?
Yes.
Yeah. Fresh is best.
Well, look, I mean, from my point of view, if I'd served the same dish that obviously got a kicking, it wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
So what have I got to lose?
Which is the strongest dish in the kitchen at the moment, then?
Well, I'll be honest with you, you two haven't seen my dish, and nor have I.
I think Tom's going to have to almost forget about this dish because he doesn't have the time to really research it and taste it and think the whole thing through.
Tom's been set a massive challenge because he's had to change the dish completely in a very short space of time, so he hasn't had time to practice it and tweak it and change it. It's got to be better than his last effort.
Next, Tom makes a dressing out of Landcress.
Pretty, yeah, very.
And the unusual leaf has caught Alan's attention.
That's a beautiful, beautiful cress.
It is fantastic, huh? These guys are brilliant. They work so hard. They do so many different cresses as well, so many different...
Has it got all the nutritional benefits of watercress? Because watercress is one of those superfoods, isn't it?
Do you know what? I don't know.
Lie.
Yes.
Tom blanches his bone marrow and slices the seared beef. And news of his unpracticed dish has reached the other chefs.
What are you doing, Chief?
Very well.
Kenny, who got through to last year's banquet with his take on beef and bone marrow salad, can't resist taking a closer look.
So this is a new dish for you?
I needed the same... No, not practiced.
You haven't practiced it?
No.
Living on the edge?
Living on the edge. Living dangerously. Yeah.
What are you serving it with?
Deep fried crispy bone marrow.
Oh, I know, you're checking it, aren't you?
Oh, seriously?
Honestly?
Yeah, seriously. Deep fried crispy bone marrow, Landcress, some Landcress flowers. Oh, and Sportsman sea salt.
Can you do this for a banquet?
You tell me, chef.
It was hard work. What Tom's doing is a bit risky, you know. He's doing a beef salad, very similar to myself last year. I just don't think the judges are going to put that through as a winning dish if it won last year.
So Tom will really have to wow the 4 judges today. He coats bone marrow in batter and deep fries it. He sprinkles sea salt over the carpaccio, followed by thinly sliced radish, Landcress salad, Landcress flowers, the Landcress dressing, and finally deep-fried bone marrow.
It's a little bit different to the last one you took.
Well thrown together.
Yes, thank you very much. If I had a bit more time, maybe I could have driven that dish a little bit more, played with it a little bit more, but, you know, considering the timescale that I had, I'm really pleased with it.
Ha!
Well, that is a change.
Certainly is a change.
Well, it looks far more appropriate than it did before.
And we've still got the Landcress.
But it's very, very bright and summer, isn't it, on the plate?
Yeah.
There's lovely yellow flowers.
But you know what? I think with the bone marrow and the crest, it all rolled up, I think it's delicious.
I agree with you.
I absolutely agree with you. And I think the reason it is such an improvement, but it's just a million times better.
It's got great ingenuity. What I love, part of the fact that the beef marrow adds sort of wonderful richness, I think it helps to bring out the flavour of the beef.
I think the beef is not tasty enough. I think the primary ingredient isn't shining through here. I'm not getting a sort of big sense of...
Put a bit of bone marrow on the beef and roll it up with a bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried that. I did try that.
But I don't think so. I actually think this beef is is perfectly flavoured for this particular dish. You don't want a big sock over the head of the flavour. You want a whole series of balanced flavours and textures and contrasts and things. And I think that lovely pepperiness of the landcress and the radishes really works well.
I think if you're going to do beef like that, which is essentially seared, it's carpaccio, I mean, you need the beef to be amazing, and that beef is not amazing.
But you're not eating the bone marrow.
I've eaten the bone marrow.
I've
eaten the bone marrow. I'll continue to eat the bone marrow. Look, darling, look.
Richard, force feed him with you.
Oliver, I think, as a salad on its own, I find nothing offensive about that salad. I think it's rather good.
I'm not offended by it at all. I'm not, on the contrary.
You need to talk it up then, you know?
No, I'm not going to talk it up because I just think it's a quality beef issue.
I think it's a lovely dish.
I hate to be the voice of doom here, but I mean, this is a good dish, but it's not a great dish. Honestly, I expect better.
The marrow's lovely.
Think bone marrow is something that might turn people off, or do you think they'll be out for it?
Well, it worked for me last year.
Yeah, but the bone marrow's got to be crispy, isn't it? It's got to be crispy, otherwise it's not going to work, because it is that simple, and you can't hide anything when you've got a simple dish.
I think the marrow's crispy enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crispy. Yeah. That's good beef. As I said, it's all down to the quality of the beef. If it's good beef, it's a good dish.
Well, I think the empty plates speak for itself, guys.
It looked good and it tasted good. You know what?
I just wasn't happy with the quality of the primary ingredient, and for that reason, I am giving it a 6.
I totally disagree with you. I thought the beef was completely delicious. I mean, it was a beautiful little first course. I loved it. I'm giving it a 9.
I didn't have the privilege of tasting Tom's last dish, but this one I really loved, and in that case, it's a 7.
It was a dish of great rich textures, but very, very light, delicate touches as well. And for that reason, I'm giving it an 8.
With all the cooking over, there's nothing more the chefs can do but wait for the judge's verdict.
Some of the dishes were amazing. They were no longer amazing. Some dishes have, stood the test of time, if you know what I mean. And I think it's part of life's journey. So, anybody who hasn't come through today, I think they can only blame themselves.
This is my favourite dish out of the 4, so hopefully this will be in first place. I'd be really gutted if it didn't come in the top half at least. There's been some really, really strong dishes. I don't think my dish is the strongest dish of the day by far, but I definitely don't think it's the weakest dish.
Yeah, got a bit nervous towards the end there. I'm usually quite a calm person. There's a lot at stake, not just for this competition, but for your reputation.
The judges won't be choosing a final menu until they've tried all the courses.
We've finally got to our top 3, haven't we?
We have.
I think they've got no idea what they're letting themselves in for.
What I think is so fascinating is that they're not going to know the order that they're in, and so there'll be a lot of needle for the rest of the week. Do you think it's you?
Kingsley's dish. I'll tell you what, he'd go down if he tried to do that for a banquet. There's not a cat and mouse chance.
I think I can pick this out in the top half comfortably, I think. I really want to get to that number 1 spot today.
Standing in the kitchen and you're a part of this competition, it is one of the biggest things that people are going to take part in their cooking life. And the pressure to win, to be one of the final team, take it from me, it's absolutely immense.
Yeah, I'm very nervous about going into the judges' chamber, coming in, you've cooked and you've tried your hardest, and it's all down to the day and what you've produced.
I think it's time we put them out of their misery. Let's get them in here.
Absolutely.
So for the chefs, the agonising wait is over.
Good evening, chefs, and welcome. How are you all feeling?
Tired.
Yeah, well, we're tired too. It's been tough. Has it been tough for you?
Yeah, very. Yeah.
Well, we've had some great starters. We've had some not so great starters, and we haven't necessarily always agreed on each dish, by the way. But this is a competition. We have all ranked the dishes. Sadly, somebody has to be in 8th place, and the person in 8th place today is Will.
I think the feeling was that it was a sort of exercise in technique more than it was in a sense of a fully realised dish.
How do you feel about that, Will?
Slightly surprised. I took on board your comments from last time, but it was maybe one step too far for the rabbit.
But, you know, you have 3 days ahead of you. There's ample opportunity to come back and to pull in a course.
OK, well, not far ahead of Will in 7th place is Eled.
It wasn't quite joined-up cooking, if you know what I mean. I think we had 3 separate elements, and the linkage between the 3 just wasn't evident to us. They may be perfectly clear in your own.
Were you happy with it this time?
I was actually happier with it this time than I was last time, surprisingly.
Well, you know, we're a fussy lot.
Well, moving on to 6th place. And it's Alan.
I think that when a dish is that simple, that if every single detail of it isn't utterly perfect, the sense it exposes the weaknesses in it.
I've actually practiced that dish, and it's so simple.
Yeah.
So I'm a little surprised, but...
We're now moving into the mid-table, and this is where it gets a bit trickier, because I can announce that in joint 4th place, it is Niall and Nathan.
Nathan, did you change your dish at all?
Only took into account that someone on the judging panel said it was a little bit messy halfway through it was eating it, which is sort of a... Yeah, it's messy when you eat anything halfway through. And so I just sort of try to tighten it up a little bit and make it a little bit more presentable.
You went very light on the dressing, Niall, compared to the first time at the judging, the last time.
Just feedback, size, portion.
I thought it was nearly, you know what I mean, possibly even too small.
So that leaves 3 of you vying for top spot. Kenny, Lisa, and Tom. But who is it going to be? One of you 3 will be cooking the starter for the Prince of Wales, the Duchess of Cornwall, and some of the top producers in the country. It is our responsibility to pick the ultimate menu for the occasion. And I can tell you today, we are not going to announce who the winner of the starter is going to be. Each day we will announce the top 3 chefs that are in the running for that course on the day, but it is not until after we've had dessert on Thursday will we decide which is the ultimate menu for the competition.
And it's interesting because our 3 potential winners were probably the best sources.
How do you feel about that now?
Totally different. Everything's up in the air.
Keeps you hanging.
Ready to go.
So congratulations, Kenny, Lisa and Tom. But the rest of you, you know, we've still got 3 courses to go. Tomorrow is fish day, so we'll see you all then. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care.
So a great result for Lisa, Kenny and Tom, who've made the top 3 spots with their starters.
For me to get in the top 3 on the first dish was, you know, it's amazing.
Top 3 for a dish that is a bit of a blag. It's put together at last minute. Dead chuffed.
But for the rest of the chefs, it's disappointment.
I'm annoyed. You take it so personally. You want to murder somebody. The judges and Richard Corrigan, in my view, got it wrong today.
But as the judges won't be choosing the winning dishes until they've tried all the courses, there's still everything to play for.
They'll come in tomorrow fighting and, you know, that's the way it is.
Tomorrow it's the fight for the fish course, and the knives are out, both in the kitchen.
It came from a supermarket on a corner, so if we did a gooseberry on the side, am I there? It's relentless, isn't it? It just doesn't stop.
And in the judging chamber.
If you take away the presentation, what you're left with is a bar snack.
I don't think this dish, in all honesty, has got anything going for it.
Flick over to BBC One Scotland now for a bank holiday edition of The One Show with special guest Alistair Campbell. Next year on BBC Two Scotland, the creative explosion of war in the genius of design.